Hello, everybody. It's time for a new Kudos announcement. What's happening? What's happening? Well, we're going to find out in this live stream. If you're watching this as a video, you missed the live stream. Subscribe, like, bang some concrete on your forehead, eat some raw fish. I don't care what you do, but then you won't miss stuff when it's happening live. Kudos have said they're going to tell us some information. And that's what we're waiting for. In 5 minutes, we're receiving information from the Kudos people. So that's what's happening. That's what's going on. That's what we're for. We've got their video goes live in like 3 minutes or something. There's a trailer playing. Can't complain. Hello. Hello guys, hello CC, how's it going, man? CC Stig. Sim Stig CC. Starfox Gaming, hello. Look, see, here we go. Premieres at 6. Premieres at 6. That's in 4 minutes. 4 minutes time. I'm ready. I'm ready to be premiered. What could they have done? What could have happened? As Stefano turned it into a boat simulator. One could only hope. That would be really funny, actually. I'd like that. Confirmed. Evo now boat racing game. I don't know when the if you have the timer on here. I've never done this. What's this? We just have to wait. Is that how this works? Oh look, yeah, we just have to wait. Trailer's waiting, we just wait. Oh, waiting. What is this waiting like? I'm gonna turn my music off here so we don't get bamboozled. Hello, you excited, guys? You excited? What's next? What is next? Was is next? Click the like button, guys. We've done nothing of value. Click the like button. I'm trying to open my coffee here, but it won't open. They've super glued the lid on. There we go. Lidl's concrete coffee lid. What's going to happen? What are we going to find out? Is the world a better place than it was before? There's no way to know. There's no way to know what's happening. But we can react to what's happening like an influencer. We could react with an echo. What's going on? Hey, hey, hey. Oh dear. Is Twitch chat working as well, actually? Don't know if it is. Don't know if we're even live on Twitch. Oh, Greek, hello, how's it going, man? How you doing? Still waiting. 1 minute to go. Premiere will begin shortly. Oh, the excitement. We better see. I want to see Stefano dancing topless in the background on a catamaran. They're not going to deliver that though, are they? But that's what I would like to see. I think everyone would like to see that. Or I'd like to see all the Kudos development team grovelling. just grovelling. That'd be, why not? I like I will grovel. You don't have to. That's every live stream. We are the grovel zone. Oh, here we go. It's happening. I can't hear it, but it's happening apparently. Oh, so I muted it. Oh, here we go. Kudos have a video. Don't you know? It's a video about AC EVO.
What's happening, Mr. G?
EVO. Thank you, Mad Axe. What have they done to the game? Is it all the same? Or have they improved with something on the back end. It is the Kunos video. Working hard in the studio. That was the intro music. Right, here we go, guys. Here we go. Right, let's find out. Marco's bedroom. Watch out. No, put your clothes on. Ah, oh, God.
Okay.
Got me worried there. Almost caught him.
We got it wrong. But it can be a good thing when developers are willing to listen. And we do. This is not how we usually start our keynotes, but it is what it is. So let me provide you with some clarification about some questions that the launch of EVO has generated, because I have some good news for you. In terms of numbers, the launch of Assetto Corsa EVO is so far the most successful in the story of the franchise. This means a lot to us, and we are so grateful to all of you for the great support you are giving to our team, especially in these challenging times for the video gaming industry. Due to the ambitions we have with Assetto Corsa EVO, one of the main targets of the Early Access program is to balance the gameplay experience and tweak the new features and game modes introduced for the first time in the third chapter of Assetto Corsa. One of these is the online ecosystem we are building around EVO. Some people have assumed that Assetto Corsa EVO has been assembled as an online-only product. Let me tell you this straight, it's not like that. Anyway, we recognize that a lack of information, a not ideal placement of some user interface functionalities, and the backend issues at launch in January prevented you from enjoying some single-player modes, and led our community to the conclusion that you can't play EVO offline, or in a very limited way, or that if one day we shut down the servers, you will not be able to play it at all. As I said before, it's not like that. Anyway, in the last weeks we made a deep review of the situation, evaluating also your comments and feedback, and instead of rushing behind a quick and dirty solution, we decided to apply changes to workflow and software architecture, taking a step back to better meet the requests from the community. The first result is that we are working to make the single-player modes totally independent from the presence of an online connection, with a goal to provide EVO with a fully well-known Assetto Corsa Classic experience. This means that, launching the game, you can choose if you want to play Assetto Corsa as you did with the previous chapters in the open mode, while other features related to the game economy, the driving academy and progressive unlocks will live inside the career mode. To apply these changes we'll need a bit more time than expected before to release the Early Access version 2. But we are also making some modifications to the current roadmap. So, the next release will include more content than planned, while the engine team is taking advantage of this delay to bring performance optimizations in graphics performance, triple screen and VR support, AI behavior and performances. The result of these optimizations are quite encouraging. We have fixed some relevant issues, and this will result in an even better driving experience. Talking about the roadmap, we'll make some changes in order to provide you with a familiar Assetto Corsa experience while we'll continue to work on the career mode and progression. So, after release 2, we'll fully focus on netcode functionalities, hoping to deliver multiplayer mode in the early summer. There is another change in the roadmap that will make you happy. Even if the modding functionalities were expected to be shared and delivered after the 1.0 release of Assetto Corsa EVO, we are now planning to release modding tools during the Early Access program, in order to test it properly with a goal to improve and finalize it before the 1.0 release. We can't wait to see how the modding community will express its talent using the huge potential of Assetto Corsa EVO and pushing it to the edge. On our end, we decided to make some changes also in the car release schedule, delivering in advance some models that were expected to be released later this year or in the 1.0 version. After all, we haven't released any open-wheelers since 2017. That's quite a long time, isn't it? This refactoring is just the first result of some changes we are applying to our organizational chart in order to deliver the best possible Assetto Corsa experience ever. So I'm so glad and proud to welcome back my older brother Stefano Casillo, founder of Kuno Simulazioni and father of Assetto Corsa, in the role of Chief Technical Officer of Assetto Corsa EVO. The Kunos team is working at his own best, doing any possible effort to make you happy and satisfied. So, on behalf of Kuno Simulazioni and 505 Games, thank you so much for your understanding and patience. The scope of this early access program is not just delivering content, but putting things right when there is room for improvement. And this is what we are doing so hard. So, grazie.
That's it! Well, that was a whole lot of nothing. Okay. That was a whole lot of nothing. Right, okay. I'm like, this is the thing, right? All developers are obviously working as hard as they can, and they all want to make as good a game as they can. I mean, let's be honest. Like, the game just shouldn't be released in the first place without basic stuff. Like, like it's not listening to the audience, is it? It's like we did early access. We did really early access, but it turns out the early access was really, really early access, and actually, you know, they knew before they do the early access, they know what's in the early access. It's not like they don't know before they push the go live button, right? But the reality is, a commercial reality is that you business wise, you're always better to just get stuff out as soon as possible. What's the loss? People will pre-order, so that's cash flow. You'll get sales, that's great. And then if your game's terrible or messed up, you then patch it and update it. And then people are like, oh, wow, the developers listened to us. You've done a really good job and you've improved the game. And you've improved it. So, wow, what a good developer. And so they've got, like, you get 2 lots of advertising. So you can't frame it as a negative. It's like, developers releasing broken games is actually good for business. So, you know, it's like, I mean, it's nice that they've got to, but I mean, actually, I don't know if having modding tools now is a good thing necessarily, or doing them in early access. I'm not sure if modding tools are a good idea early if you've got the game changing a lot, but I guess it allows people to mess around with things. But if the game's not solid, if the physics and the core stuff of the game isn't worked out, then having that is not good, is it? So like, you know, it's just stupid, right? So I don't know. It's a bit dumb. Let's put some background music on here so we can enjoy this. Yeah, I mean, yeah, early access, can't complain. Like, I don't think it's bad. Like, what I think is weird is what would sim racers expect them to be doing? Like, there was a load of people online complaining about going, oh, Kunos, why aren't you saying anything? It's like, well, why should they say anything? Why should they say anything? Yeah, I live on Discord, Yoko. It's good. It's a good Discord time. I just, it's just weird. The whole thing is a bit weird. So, yeah, I think I'm not. So the thing is, I know that Kunos will be doing a good job, right? I know they'll be doing a decent job. Hang on. So, you know they'll be working hard, but it's just the nature of modern games industry, and then the way that stuff is framed is just really weird. It's all a bit weird. You know, It's all a bit strange. Like, framing like the framing of it is just weird. That's the thing. So it's right. Put it. The developer, right? So the developer knows when they press the go live button, they know the state of the game. So the developer could be. You don't know like this. An audience assuming that something will always be online and it might not be. So there's valid communication of a developer going, oh yeah, the audience has got the wrong idea. That's not our intention. We obviously want to make a game that's builds on the previous one, and the audience always comes to like we'll come up with like weird conspiracies and false conclusions that are just completely fabricated. And you see this in sim racing. Some of those false conclusions and fabrications are actually really, really beneficial to business of games development, and some of them are just not useful and just stupid, but in both cases they can be completely just made up. And that's really common, and so it's good for developers to get on top of that and be like, oh no, this isn't our intention. Thanks, Thomas. Thank you very much, appreciate that. Bloody hell, there goes more of Thomas's money into the dustbin. Yeah, like it. If developers were honest, they would say, we have to get games out early as possible because we might as well, because we'll still get the pre-order sales, and you know, we need to release stuff before other things come out, and we need to get it into a release schedule, and we launch it, and then we can fix it at a later date and it will work out more financially. So that's the motivation. Like Kunos, if they weren't owned by a publisher, they probably wouldn't have released the game, right, in the state that it was, because they would have gone, oh, it's clearly not ready. But when you're owned by a publisher, you have to do stuff that's against the interest of the art, of the specific art, but in the interest of the finances. You could argue maybe in the long run it actually does work out because you need good finances or specific finances for the product to be successful. But you know, whatever, you can have a big debate on that. But framing it, like trying to frame it outside of the corporate reality is quite funny, and you always see businesses do this because you're not allowed to be directly honest about the corporate reality of things. Like legally, people aren't allowed to be honest about it. So it's like, it's just, then you end up with this like really weird communication. And also like, you also just have the weird things I said with the players, like gamers that don't seem to understand that obviously the developers, i.e. the people actually working on the game, they are obviously trying to make a good game. It's their job, and most people when they're doing the job, especially in the games industry, are trying to do a good job. Like you wouldn't turn up to work and do a job that you can get paid much more working in other industries. If you're someone that can do really good game art or programming, there's other industries where you can work less hours and get much more pay and just have better office conditions and everything, and probably better management and a whole bunch of stuff. So the people working on games are trying to do a good job, right? So it's really weird when players of a game are like, oh, why aren't they talking to us? What's going on? And also, developers should ignore the players when the players are like, oh, well, tell us what's happening. No, don't tell the players what's happening. They don't deserve to know. And just communicate via the quality of the product. This is what Valve learnt like 5-10 years ago. There's like, you could because you can say, oh, we're going to put this in the game, we want to have this work, we want to have that work, we're working on this, and it's like, but if you haven't executed on it, or you fix it and do something, but then you have to take it out because it's taking longer to fix before you actually have the release you're going to do, or even if you set a release date, you're probably going to break the release date, or you might need to break the release date because it'd be better for everyone to break the release date, because the release date's just arbitrary. It's not necessarily the right time to release a game. So just not saying a release date and not saying stuff and then just delivering a good product in many ways is the better way to communicate. But yeah, you can't complain, it's early access. So I don't think it's a scam with Evo. I think Evo will end up being good. Samir just said it's a scam. It's just the thing is, it's like, Right, in reality, Assetto Corsa 1 exists, right? Every player, pretty much everybody that's a Kunos fan of Assetto Corsa, what would they want? They would just want continued development on AC1, generally speaking. They wouldn't want it to break mods, so I'm not saying it'd be easy, but they would maybe want some basic online ranking that's official and a continuation of AC1. I don't think the average Kunos player that's a fan of AC wants a completely another different title. Now that's a separate thing, that's a hypothetical whatever. So you might go, well, they're fully justified in doing another title, which they are, and in which case, and I think they're right, like the cruising component and whatever they're doing with Evo, I think that's a good business decision, and I think that's where there's good money to be made, and I think you can do something from Evo, from AC1, and you can create something more streamlined and, you know, justify the package of it. But I mean, it's just like that. I just think developers need to release games that are like actually a bit more finished. Even like you can't just use early access. I mean, you can. You'll make money out of it, but I think there's going to be a point where I think the consumer is not going to take it, and it'll be there's going to have to be a point. Maybe developers should just keep pushing it, and publishers should keep pushing it. But I feel like there's going to be a point where there'll be so much apathy that it actually like causes like this equivalent of like a video game crash, because players will just be like, I know. Like actually, that's what happened with Battlefield. Basically, is that Battlefield had built up so much credibility through all its like Codename Eagle, Battlefield 1942, Battlefield 2, Bad Company, you know, all those games, and Battlefield 3, and then basically Battlefield 4, Battlefield 5, they basically lost credibility. They lost their intellectual property value by releasing diluted drivel, or like just having like cheaters and things. So basically the brand gets destroyed, and then what happens is people that otherwise would just buy it no longer buy it, and so it's basically killed the intellectual property value. I'm not saying that's what's happened with Evo, but I'm saying this is what happens when developers basically release buggy stuff because you with Battlefield 1, for example, is actually quite a good game, but a huge number of people wouldn't have bothered playing it or getting it, and at launch it had loads of bugs, but they actually did fix it. But it's like no one cared, you know. It's because I think there's a degree of trust in the consumer attached to an intellectual property, and it doesn't happen immediately, but I think a developer can lose that intellectual property value quite quickly, maybe like 1 or 2 games. And that's something that is, from a business perspective, is a massive value loss, because it's almost impossible to build up the intellectual property of a Call of Duty, a Grand Theft Auto, an Assetto Corsa, a Gran Turismo. Like, it's actually insanely difficult to build a brand that has those kind of brand awarenesses, and it's incredibly valuable, which is why publishers will buy developers for hundreds of millions of pounds, because they're aware of the value of that brand, but they seemingly are not aware of the factors that actually destroy the value of that brand, which is actually a detriment to what the publishers want in the long run. But because publishers are chasing short-term profiteering, because they're thinking quarterly profits and shareholder profits, they don't really consider the long-term things, and they might even not be aware of the nature of brand dilution, because they don't know the actual factors that are the relevant factors, the intrinsic properties of the video games, because these large corporates are typically not actual gamers, or the specific gamers that understand the specific culture of the specific video games as to why those video games are respected video games. The corporates don't understand it, so that's what ends up destroying those brands. And then they wonder, well, why is no one interested in the brand anymore? And everyone's lost money, so it's kind of self-defeating. So, oh dear. Yeah, but anyway, the Kunos thing, I don't think that video had I don't think it had too much in it, really, that was like, I think they'd be better off not putting the video out they've just put out, and just do an update that has the stuff in it. Why put out this video? Like, it's nicely done video. Marco's a nice guy talking on camera. Fortunately put his clothes on before he opened the door. Appreciate that. But why put out that video? That makes you look, again, it's more pointless talk. Just do the update. Don't do anything. Right, they would be better to be radio silent for even longer and then drop the update that does the stuff that they're saying they're going to have in this video, and them saying, oh, we've listened. Or like not even saying that, just being like, just listing all the features and like ticking it off. And then it's like, look, here's the action, not words. They don't need to buy any time. This is the thing. They've got good pre-order sales, so that's the cash flow for 505. I don't understand why developers think they need to talk to the consumer. There's no financial benefit, and the consumer's stupid. Ignore consumers. They're not. If a game's good, they will play it and they will like it. Communicate through the game, not through words. Like, YouTubers are there to say pointless shit. Developers should be like mystical and secret. Well, it doesn't matter that if it takes longer than they were. It's because people like to complain. I never complain. All the video was to get people talking about the game again. No, because Kunos, they want. They want to be respectful to their players in a sense, because they're trying to make a good game. They do care about what they're doing. So, and you don't know, right? You don't know who decides certain stuff. Like, you can have situations where a publisher forces a developer to put a game out before it's ready. Everyone on the dev team will know that the game's not ready, but the publisher's like, oh, we need to release because of XYZ reason. And so then the dev team's like, but we're getting the stick from the players. And it's like, we can't control that. And the dev team can't say, the publisher's forced us to put the game out, because the dev team can't throw the publisher under the bus because the publisher has funded the development or parts of the development or whatever. That's the business reality of it all. But I think, I think the key thing is that a developer or even publishers, they should communicate through the quality of the product for the most part. This is my hair. I couldn't afford a wig, so I have to wear this hat. So, I mean, I think Kunos would do a good job with Evo. To be honest, I honestly think Evo being a mess at launch with the early access is actually beneficial for the game, because sim racers are so desperate as well, and there's not that many sims available, and people wanted, there's a fanboy fan base behind specific brands as well, and they're actually quite stubborn in what they move to. And then no one else seems to be servicing the potential cruising thing. And then a lot of the mod teams and things are kind of still like the brand awareness of Assetto as a mod platform, and then so that would obviously want to carry across to Evo, maybe than it would to other potential titles. So, I think the real problem for me is that this first sim game I pre-release invested fell for all the BS with an idea. Well, to be fair, I'm not sure what they said they were going to have in the start of their early access. So, I mean, early access is early access, but conveniently the term early access is incredibly vague. And some early access games are actually like betas or even like actual full-fledged games, and some early access games are like God knows what. But generally the consumer probably expects a publisher sold game to not be like really messed up like in early access. But Like people often perceive early access as like a pre-order as opposed to it being an early access in the traditional sense. But then, so there's that ambiguity there in the term early access, and obviously with business being how business is, it will do the most cynical exploitation of early access, because that's what capitalism, for good or bad, will find the most. Will push for whatever generates most profit. It's amoral, so it will just, oh look, we can cynically take advantage of the term early access, okay, and it's not even necessarily someone making that choice. It will be like different companies and different publishers will be like, oh look, that's a less risk way of getting more revenue in. They're not even looking at the games or anything. It's just data driven. So it's, you know. Kunos did tell us they'll be implementing modding earlier and that there will be an offline mode. Yeah, but that's fine to be in the announcement, but weirdly, modding earlier isn't necessarily a good thing. Like, modding is not necessarily a good thing. This is really weird, right? It can be a really good thing, and there's plenty of examples of mods really carrying games. I doubt AC1, despite it having probably some of the most realistic handling and communicative force feedback of any simulator ever made still, I doubt it would be as successful as it was without modding. If you look at the data for AC, the point at where it took off in user numbers was the cruising stuff, because that's where the mass market is. In 2018, I think it was, when they did the open world stuff, that is when AC sales exploded, because people don't actually like racing cars. Most people, in terms of majority of consumers, are brainwashed by marketing for cars, which is why they like cars. It's all marketing and propaganda. They don't actually like this stuff intrinsically. They can't afford the cars. They don't even drive them. They don't even know about them. Ownership of cars is generally actually terrible in reality, but the marketing allure, from a very young age, people are like, oh, exposed to all these cars and this like delusion of what vehicles are. So that's what makes that a mass popular thing. Also, most people experientially from a young age have been in a car. So they're like, oh, that'd be fun to try the game. I'd like to drive around on a road badly. So that's, you know, it's the most common denominator appealing thing. So God knows why it's taken like 20 years for Sims to work that out, given that I figured this out when I was playing Midtown Madness in the 90s, but whatever. So that cruising thing is the key part of AC success, which came from modding. If you didn't have modding, you probably wouldn't have had that. However, from the perspective of a game that's actually intrinsically good to drive, relevant physics, relevant force feedback, actually accessible for you to get onto for people that have sim racing equipment and want to actually drive focus rather than just fantasize about driving a car they couldn't afford. Modding, for the most part, is actually not a good thing. It normally messes games up. Like, most of the mods for Half-Life and stuff were terrible and made the game a total mess. Most of the car mods for AC are actually awful and just make things a mess. The online servers in AC, until they obviously content manager fixed this in many ways, but the servers were completely messed up for years because you couldn't get onto them without downloading random mods. That's also what partly killed R Factor 1 in many ways, is that there was just so much modding noise, you couldn't even get onto a server to do any racing, or it was so hard, a pain in the arse, to get onto servers that it actually just made it really inaccessible. And like the beauty of like Gran Turismo, some like Forzas, or games that don't necessarily have loads of mods on them, is that you know what you're getting when you're like, oh, I feel like driving, I'll jump on the game and I'll get in the server and I'll be able to race. And it's also specifically why Le Mans Ultimate is actually really, really good, in that you can be like, oh, I feel like doing an online race. Right, every 30 minutes there's a race. Same with iRacing. People will pay a lot of money that goes directly to the developer because they know what they're going to get. Bad tyres, but they'll get an online race. And so there's this bizarre obsession and meme. It's another one of these sim racing memes that like mods are the be all and end all. And it's like, they're great in certain ways, but actually in many ways they're awful, and it really depends how mods are actually integrated into a game and to what extent. Even BeamNG, sure, I'm sure mods have actually made that game sell really well, and it's been an intrinsic part of it doing well, but it's also a complete mess to use if you're like, it's terrible. So this mod obsession, I think Evo could actually have no mods in it, right? And if they just released a polished product, I think from their revenue perspective directly, they could make more money, or as much money. But I mean, you might as well have mods and get people to make content for you, and hopefully a developer could integrate mod stuff. I don't know on the sim side why there aren't more sim developers doing the Microsoft Flight Sim thing, where you should have mod stores in the game, you know, so it and design the game around integrating modding so it's not a mess. And in fairness to Unreal Tournament and even Half-Life, you could auto-download mods from the servers. Like, you can do that in Content Manager now a bit, but like it worked. It weirdly 20 years ago it worked more streamlined. So, but the idea that modding in and of itself, Flight Sim Studio, the idea that modding in and of itself is like a really good thing is just BS. Like, also, most of the cars in the original Assetto Corsa, and I think a lot of people haven't driven every car in AC, or even 100% completed AC1, right? Still, the Porsche Cup 2017 is still the best Porsche Cup car in any simulator. The F2004 car, there's a whole bunch of vintage cars in there. The Tatis F4 car. There's loads of cars that are the base cars in AC1 that is still on another level to anything in any simulator. Like, they're higher, they're the same sort of level as like privately developed mental simulators that have had tons of money put into them and specific testing and stuff. And it's like, people don't realise that. It's like, oh, we need a mod. They don't even drive the cars that much. Oh dear. Anyway, there's so much ridiculous stuff in sim racing which is just based on like memes. You've arrived 10 seconds late. Summary is Kunos they've said we're sorry. And they don't even need to say they're sorry. Don't you know, they just said, oh, we're working on making things better, which is what you would assume they were doing anyway, unless you had like 3 brain cells. Why would you assume that they wouldn't? They obviously they do the work. So stupid. Oh dear. Could it be better than Daisy? Daisy mod was actually really good and better than the actual release game. RSS Formula 3 is one of the best cars in any sim. It's fine. I like the RSS cars. I think they're great. But so are the stock cars, the base cars in AC. And you could even argue that VRC, RSS, or whatever, these mod cars, you can argue that they're worse in some ways than the base cars in the game. In that they might have less detailed force feedback. They might be arguably better in some ways and do certain approaches and maybe line up to a specific thing better or worse. But most people are not driving within 2 seconds of track pace to notice anyway. And so like, it's just really, the whole sim thing. Like, you have, at the moment, how many people playing iRacing that are like, oh, I love this car in iRacing. The cars are absolutely, utterly atrocious in iRacing because of the fundamental tyre model. Even LMU has some really significantly worse qualities to it than AC1 in some ways, or AMS1 in some ways. Some ways it's great. Like, I really, don't get me wrong, I love LMU. I've been playing it loads. I think it's a very entertaining game and I think it works great. But people are happy with stuff that's objectively, demonstrably worse than AC stock content. So why even, what's the point of pushing things 0.01% better and then fixating on that when it's already, the rest of the stuff's already 89% better than anything else that exists? But I could play the video again, but then it'll be talking over me. I would find an account. I would like Game Muscle to make a sim racing talk show and invite calm rational people on. I just right, honestly, from your average player's perspective, what is broken with the original Assetto Corsa? So you could say the tyre behaviour due to single contact patch. The netcode could be a bit. AI is obviously not very good, but let's put aside AI in single player because there is a market for that. But of the actual feature set that people really like, if you were to just put a ranked system into AC 1 with like a low monthly fee, and you have an hourly race like LMU and a system to that, and you just keep adding stuff to it, I think a lot of people would be really happy with that. It'd be better than most things that exist on the market. Yeah, there's lots of things that aren't great, but it's still like a lot better than any other simulator. So what's the point? Like, there's a thing with developers where they always, rather than just going, okay, here's a previous product, how can we improve it? They kind of like just rework everything. They roll the dice on everything, and end up doing like one or two things that nobody asked for better, but then break the 9 things. You know, like it's like 1 step forwards, 30 steps backwards. I'm not saying that's kudos, but it's like games developers really have a habit of doing that. Probably just because of how complex software is, in that if you try and fix one thing, it normally ends up breaking something else. Look, the replay. So yeah, I mean, on the other side of this though, I think everyone's just happy to wait for Evo to be polished and then release when it's released. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, when they do stuff, they do stuff. You like the video based on the rant? New wheelbase? I don't know. We'll have a sip of tea. It's going to be interesting to see. We need tools. Well, right. The thing with Evo fundamentally is the start of the early access. The cars have worse fit. They might be more complex and technically might be better, but in terms of how you actually, when you're playing it yourself, generally is worse than AC1, a game that came out in 2012. The force feedback's worse, the handling was worse. So why on earth would any developer that prides themselves on how cars handle and drive, why would even, admittedly, I mean, obviously there's the weather system, it's a new engine, the developer would have put a lot of work into it, and technically underneath the hood there's probably a lot more going on with the physics, so technically it's a lot more complex, and to get a more complex thing to work to the same level as a less complex thing is a lot harder. So I'm not saying they haven't done loads of work, and you know, but I think developers need to kind of, and publishers, they need to like delete from their brain what they're seeing and somehow look at it from the consumer's perspective of, is it better from the consumer's perspective than the previous thing? And if it isn't, what's the point? even if it is technically better. So with the early access Evo thing, it's kind of like, well, why would you play Evo over AC? I just don't. I think there's just games at the moment are a bit weird, aren't they? In order of that 40 minutes, I'll make a Yorkshire Gold label tea. Oh, let's scroll through the chat here. on the video. We'll see what the average AC consumer fan thinks. I'll read them out because I don't want to move my window on the screen because it will mess up everything. Right. Hello, Counter Debate. Right. Let's go. Modding is here. This sim is the future. Lord Kunos. Okay, great comments on this video. WW. What is W for? For win. Right. How was that video a win? Like, not that it was negative. It's just like, okay. Oh, it's just modding for yeah, people going off and modding. Again, I don't think people are actually thinking about stuff when it comes. I'm not saying modding's not a good thing to have. I'm not saying that modding's not important, but in many ways, modding can make a game worse. And I don't know why people just assume that modding makes a game better. Especially if you want a curated, nice experience, if you want a good, solid single player, and you want good, solid multiplayer, and you want a consistent, well-made game, often modding makes games a complete mess. Unless it's handled very, very well, and most developers struggle to handle modding in a way that doesn't completely ruin the game or the structure of the game. And how many sandboxes do we need? Like, I actually think it's really good to have AC as the sandbox sim that's a Wild West. I think that's amazing. And same with like Beam NG. I think it's amazing. You don't need, every single driving game does not need to be a sandbox. In fact, I think it's probably better to have fewer as a sandbox and then some that are like focused products. But like, not every game has to be the same thing. Oh, someone said all promises, zero dates. ACC update. Free-to-full music. I'm surprised that Kudos is going to release mod tools in early access. So people try modding again. I know that's what I think. That's I'd say I think the assumption that that's a good thing again is a bit weird. It depends. Maybe they've designed the engine structurally to be able to be modded whilst it's in development, so it's not too much of an issue. That this is possible, but. Yeah, I think it's jumping the gun a bit as well. Like, I think generally when it comes to modding in games, what you need is a game that's a good game in the first place. And by good game, what I mean is at the point of that game's release, when that game comes out, it sets a benchmark in some way. Like how Half-Life 1 did, or I don't know, I'm going to think of other examples. But you have games that come out, Operation Flashpoint, I don't know, games that come out, they set a benchmark, and so that they end up being quite popular consumer products, and it acts as a hub that then modders will go, oh, there's a good consumer base there, and it's open to modding, and so we will do some modding for this because there's a consumer base there, and maybe there's some interesting technology, and we'd like to see our thing in that thing. But if you can't. You have to have made the game popular in the first place, which requires a game, I think, at launch, for the most part, to be a polished, exciting title. And then the players are like, oh, we really loved the physics, we really loved the graphics, or we really loved this, and we want more. But the developer hasn't got enough resources to make more. But we want more. Oh, hang on, there's a mod. So then the players then go to the mods because they want more content that the developer logistically just can't deliver. If you do the modding at the start before you've got a game that players necessarily want more of, it doesn't seem to make that much sense to me. But then again, you can use marketing to say, like, Evo might be really realistic and might have the most advanced whatever and might do a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know. But whether or not what the truth is, you can maybe market enough so that the average person thinks that whatever they're playing is the best thing, and so then maybe they will gravitate towards it regardless of what the reality is. Eduardo, Game of Muscle, do you think that what we're seeing what we're seeing from AC EVO actually means AC1 will have a longer life. I don't know. I think AC1 will stick around for a long time because it's just such a... So a big thing as well with modding is that a platform that's a less complex game is easier to make mods for, which allows the mod makers to often make more mods, or more people to do mods, or more people to get into modding. So R-Factor 2, for example, they launched a game, they're like, modding will save us, when they launched it in 2012, and a lot of people are like, some people are like, oh, let's try it, but it was so complicated and such a pain in the arse to make cars for, that they were just like, oh, it's too awkward. They did make some other weird design decisions with R-Factor 2, and that probably affected things as well, but I think a big problem you have, and you see this with other titles as well, like Unreal Engine things and a whole bunch of games, like Half-Life Alyx, which has had some good mods, but you know, the problem is these newer games are so complicated. To produce an okay mod requires the amount of work that would normally be the amount of work that you would put into a actual commercial product. So the modders are like, do I make a mod for fun, or do I just make my own video game in Unreal Engine, which I can then sell or learn skills that can be used directly for something else? It's like, yeah, I don't think I'll make the mod. I think I'll just make my own bloody computer game, right? Or it's just so time consuming that only the most crazy of people end up making the mods for those games. So this is the thing with like Half-Life 1, the original Unreal games, R-Factor 1, then they don't take necessarily a ridiculous amount of time to make a map or make a car, or, you know, to make new weapons and things. They didn't take a crazy amount of time. Like, you could do a lot of the stuff in a weekend, right? You could produce a map for Half-Life 1 in a weekend, or you could do weapons and things, or you could make a little single player level in like a week or something, right? Or even less time, which is a time frame that someone can just do in their spare time. With like Source 2 engine, for example, like Counter-Strike 2, or Half-Life Alyx, or R-Factor 2, or you know, a lot of these newer games, you're talking like 3 to 6 months to produce like a basic mod in some cases. So if you want it to be reasonable quality, or seem like the similar quality to what's already in the game, so it doesn't look like a crappy mod. So I think that ends up stopping people from modding. So yeah, so I think the ease of modding is a really big factor for if modding is successful with games. And I think AC1 is just incredibly, it's still hard work to do a very good mod, but to do a basic mod you can knock something up very quickly, which can then get someone into the modding, and then they build on that maybe. Less bitter than Yorkshire Gold tea. But yeah, the whole modding thing is a weird one. Paul, I agree. You're not allowed to agree with me. I can't be bothered with open world sandbox games. Even AMS2 has too much content and it's diluted. Well, yeah, exactly. Even built into the games, if a game has like so much like random content in it, can't be bothered. Like, no one's. How many? Right, chat. Everyone in chat. Am I missing Twitch messages here, by the way? Someone type something on Twitch. Say Game of Muscles a bold git on Twitch. How many of you in chat? Oh, it is working. Thanks, Burby. How many of you have driven every single base car in the original Assetto Corsa for more than 30 minutes? I bet you like almost no one. So, if you haven't, then why are you wanting mods? There's like, and also, when it comes to race driving, like actual racing and race cars, how many bloody cars do you need? I've driven the F4 car in iRacing for like 1,000 hours, or you know, some of the best cars for racing are like Clio Cup, and you know. I'm quite in LMU. I don't mind just driving the LMP2 car. If your goal is racing, yeah, David Adams, right? I get that there's cars you want to drive that are included in the base game. None of the cars in any simulator literally drive like the real car, so it's all like an illusion anyway. You're not even. It's a 3D model with supposedly similar physics, but I mean, in some ways they line up, but they're just like, you know, it's a simulated car. But I guess that's kind of the allure of Sims, is the idea at least that a car is a simulated version of the real thing and you're somehow getting close to it. You're only driving MX-5 and Rain Legends, yeah. Like, obviously, there's different audiences. There's people that just want to do cruising. People, you know, different people play games for different reasons. People play Sims for different reasons. But weirdly, the type of people that are generally driving the road cars and doing the cruising, which is by far the bigger market, they don't care about the physics. Which is why, like, you look at the cruise servers, the physics are insane on a load of the cars. They like the superficiality, the visuals of the car, the sound of the car, because actually what they're reliving is the marketing of the vehicles, not the actual real vehicle, because they've never experienced or will probably experience the real vehicle. The entertainment is the idea of the vehicle that's presented through the marketing, which isn't it's good to have entertainment from that if that's what you want. Great, I'm not knocking that, but what that means is the actual physics are not the most relevant thing, which then means what's the point in the actual simulator being a realistic simulator for that type of thing? It doesn't really matter, does it? But weirdly, because the simulator is a simulator that's supposedly realistic, even if the content's unrealistic, it adds credibility to it because it's enough for a person to be deluded that it is realistic, so they don't question it, so it keeps their suspension of disbelief and their entertainment of the vehicle, allowing for the superficial thing that they are actually playing the game for to then be acceptable. So it's so stupid. And it's fine that it's stupid. Yeah, I'm happy for people to have fun, but it's so like irrational. It's mental. But also, I don't personally. I think the Toge cruising and what have you. I think it's fantastic, and I don't care that it's unrealistic cars. I don't think it matters. If it's fun, it's fun. It's really funny when you see those arguments on the forums and online, and people going, they've set this. There's no Hesse server. The cars are so unrealistic. It's like, who cares? Then even the realistic cars aren't that realistic, guys, in many ways. So just another terrible racer. You experienced an R32 GTR, felt like a Sinatra on the inside and could punch a hole in the sheet metal. I was heartbroken. Well, build quality was not what you wanted. Featful music. You've had it where you've asked people if they've driven a car that they didn't even know was in the base game. David, honestly, I love that we can use Assetto Corsa to train for drift events. IRL, that blew my mind. Do we have that technology? Yeah, like the basic, you can use Assetto Corsa to train for whatever real-wheel driving you want to. Like the fidelity of AC1 is already good enough that it replicates the general nature of approach for how one can drift and also drive in like optimal conditions. Like the general nature of a tyre losing and regaining grip. It's a little bit overly drawn out compared to real cars, and it's overly simplistic, and it doesn't maybe have a whole bunch of stuff for like if you're doing longer races, tyre wear, and a whole bunch of things. So it's not, but it does the basic approach of AC1 captures the essence of driving a real car to a degree that it's fine. Like to a degree where if you could, I mean, even iRacing does this in many ways. Like if you can drive within 1.5 seconds of pace in cars in iRacing, and you can do that consistently for like an hour, 2 hours, or whatever, longer races or whatever, you would probably beat most people in real life if you had the time and the money to practice in real life to get used to the differences. But if you were to then go and drive in optimal conditions with a like-for-like car, like good condition car in real life, you would be at a skill level that would be surprisingly high relative to most people that haven't spent stupid amounts of time on simulators. Yeah, Max Verstappen. Yeah, he's only good because he had to learn iRacing. So, yeah, but AC is even better than iRacing, though, in that regard. So, we're talking about the Kunos video. We're just having a talk. I actually think Evo will be all right. To be honest, though, I just think the sort of corporate stuff is a bit silly. Jax. Beautiful, beautiful times. Let's get a candle in the air. DD girl with a DD wheel. What a babe, what a beauty, what a sexy lady. It's a DD girl with a DD wheel.
I don't like AC.
Always driving with 100% force feedback. It's a DD girl.
Probably one of the
It's a beautiful
most of the or not the practice like
she's rotating in Jack's bed tonight. With Max Verstappen's voice in the background. Everybody needs a DD girl. Put a DD girl in your sim rig. Everybody wants DD girl. She's so powerful and strong and only drives at 100% force feedback. Thank you, Jack. Oh dear. Thank you. What an emotional moment. takes me back to better times. We'll do some AC driving, some AC1 driving in a bit, I think. Yeah. Okay, chat report here, guys. Chat report. Who is hyped for Evo still? Who's like really looking forwards to Evo? I'm still looking forward to Evo, you know, like I'm still like, I think it'll still be a fun game to play. I just think it's a bit weird. Let's hyper analyze the video as well because we've got nothing better to do. Zero hype. Yeah, you'd have to get the force feedback better. Yeah, for me, I still feel like force feedback is something that all developers can really, that no developer is really fully taken advantage of to where it could be. Yeah, I think a game like Evo, unfortunately, but maybe it's probably what Stefano's probably. I'd imagine Stefano's probably going to really help with the graphics engine. But in fairness, to Kunos, see, this is what they could have communicated more, I think, is that even though it's kind of irrelevant, the reality is building your own graphics engine, especially a racing simulator engine, is insane. Like, I don't... Yeah, so actually, Kunos should have done more of this in their video. Consultancy, here we go. Anyone from Kunos watching? The developers don't signal the complexity of the games to the players enough to make the players value the product more when they could do, because honestly, genuinely, this is not lying, like absolutely the truth, a video game engine, especially like a decent physics simulator engine, is insane to program and to get to run. A custom graphics engine that does day night, multiple lights, dynamic track, decent physics with multiple vehicles on it, along with everything else, with large environments, with all the assets, with grass, is insane. And like, I think the developer if you've got a video production team to make content about your game, which Kunos clearly do because someone filmed the stuff they're doing here, they've probably got someone with a camera, they've edited it nicely, so I imagine they actually, maybe 505 do this video production, I don't know, but you can do more like in-depth insights. You don't have to expose IP and trade secrets and stuff, but you can talk, you can just very overview, convey the sheer complexity and insanity of building a real-time physics engine that runs quickly and can load everything, which will add so much value to the perception of the game. And I don't know what, that's what this sort of video should be. Kunos saying, we've released a game in early access, say we understand, we've heard your feedback, and obviously we're working really hard, but and not even like admit or not admit something, but then be like, here's what we're doing, basically, which they've kind of said in this video in a superficial way, but you can like really, like, it's like itemized billing, basically. Like, someone could bill you for something, you'd be like, oh, well, that seems like a lot of money, and then if you itemize it, even if it's the same product, you can be like, oh, that, you know, I've seen this, okay, that, okay, actually it's not too bad, and oh, I actually got good value out of that because I wouldn't have done any of that work. Oh, Jesus Christ, Jax. Thank you very much. He's gifted 10 DD Girl memberships to everyone in chat. Do you mind if I don't have the audio on here? Because I think everyone will have an aneurysm. This is why you have massive respect for Stefano, even though you would argue with him about forced feedback. Well, it's not just Stefano, it's any of these, like... and in fairness as well, I do think it's a bit of... So this is worth saying, because I don't think people in Kunos will probably be able to say it. But, so, it's a bit unfortunate. Like, Stefano's obviously a genius, and I think his work would be amazing. I'm sure he will have a really good positive benefit on AC, right? But even if the performance of EVO's engine, and from a consumer perspective, it's not good enough in the early access, you still have to... will have still been insane work by the people that have done what they've done on EVO so far. Like, to get the engine to where it is, even though I don't think it's consumer ready, they still deserve a lot of credit. So I think what's unfortunate is Stefano joining the company, it's like, the guys that have done the work haven't done a good enough job, and now Stefano's going to save it. And that's just like a really unfair and simplistic a view of it, which I think most people would have. It's just unfair to the people that actually have been doing the work already. And unfortunately, Kunos wouldn't be able to say directly. They won't be able to say that directly, but I can say it because it's the truth. So, yeah, because it's the unfortunate thing with art, isn't it? It's like, I'm off the Stefano. Stefano would probably say the same thing because it's just the truth. It's art though, isn't it? Like the Matrix films, look how terrible Matrix 2 and 3 is, but there's so much good work in that. You can't throw everybody under the bus just because they decided to do what they did, like the editor or the director did whatever. Definitely getting... No, because Stefano's... I know he's Italian, isn't he? Ah, yeah, that's another horse's head. No, but then I'll get a nice pizza from the graphical programmers that have put a lot of work into it and have been working on it. Imagine you've been working on a new game engine and doing like your absolute best and putting tons of work into it, and then you maybe you have to release things sooner than you really want to by a publisher potentially. And then imagine they're like, oh, we've got this key programmer comes in to save the day. And it's like, hang on, but they've probably been doing as good a job as they possibly could. and then they're like thrown under the bus through no fault of their own. So I am pushing positive vibes towards the hard work that some people will have done. That's all. And I'm saying to be aware of all the work, but and at the same time, not excusing the end result that the consumer's been exposed to. We can have multiple views on things, guys. Fancy that. Imagine the world not being a simple black and white situation. Impossible. I tell you what is black and white, though, is the 10... the Jack's 10 gifted members. Why have you gifted 10 members? I really appreciate it. I'd like to remind people, only gift memberships, donate and support. Only do that if you, A, don't have stocks and shares tied to the American FTSE 100. Only do it if you've got money to waste. I don't want memberships and things from people that are on tight budgets and things. Only from people that have money to waste. So if you're a Saudi king and you're not ethically compromised and would like to support me, I appreciate it. So I think Jax is probably... Hopefully, he shorted the stock exchange at the right time. Thank you very much. You wonder how many videos Kirith will make after the Kudos update. Look, Kirith is single-handedly responsible for the destruction of the Amazon rainforest through AI-generated thumbnails. So that is where people should... Kirith has destroyed the forest. Too many AI thumbnails. I like to use my AI thumbnails and not really... I don't use them on thumbnails. I will only use them on community posts where I can do ludicrous pictures. Have the DD girls... Are they done? Oh, there's another one. They're still coming. You should try to AI generate a video. They probably wouldn't notice. It'd probably have better hair than what I've got. This is actually AI generated. Right, guys, we're gonna analyze the video now a little bit more. We're gonna look in deep. We're gonna see what we can expose from the Kunos. What have they accidentally revealed? Okay, first of all, what can we tell about this door? It's made out of multiple strips of wood. Is that beech? What have we got any builders in here? Counter debate. What type of wood is the door to the Kunos office, and what does this expose about Assetto Corsa Evo? It's a real solid wood door, so they've got a nice office. Doors made out of door. Cheap laminate walnut. Right. Stained birch. Right, there we go. Stained birch confirmed. How many times... Right, first of all, how many times do you think he opened the door, right, for this shot? So the cameraman... They'll have gone... Right, he'll have shut the door... He'll have shut the door and the cameraman will have gone outside and be stood there with the camera, and then they'll have turned the sound off and he'll have gone, okay, go. And then I bet they said to Marco, right, count to 10, probably in Italian. A 1, a 2, I don't know how, I can't count it. Azione. Alcuna se azione. So it would have counted to 10 for when to open the door for this shot. I bet they did that. How many seconds do you think he counted before opening the door? How many takes do you think they took to do this? Right, okay. Just look at this scenario a bit closer. This doesn't make any sense, guys. Why is Marco stood so close to the door? If you look, knock on the door, 1 and 2, and why is Marco stood right next to the door? What kind of work is he doing in the Kudos office? This is why the game is how it is, because Marco's just stood by the door. Do they not have automatic doors in Italy? It's just, I'm waiting for the door to be unlocked. And it's just like, oh, yes, finally a visitor. He looks angry. Niels has been banned. No, Niels, behave yourself. This isn't a Dutch high street. This isn't Amsterdam high street God, you can't use words like that in my chat. These bloody Dutchmen, they can't help themselves. Right, why does he look so angry as he's opening the door? He's calculating whether or not he needs to send out a horse head. Okay, right. Okay, here we go. Oh, he's cheered up though. he's like, good acting here. Because he's like, who's at the door? I don't know. I'm a bit suspicious, but I recognise the cameraman that I actually put in front of the door and told to knock the door, and I probably counted down. But that's good acting, Marco. Well done. Because he genuinely looks like he doesn't know who's filming him. He should be in Hollywood. Forget games development. Right, come on in. There we go. Hang on. So they must have done multiple takes because they cut the camera. As soon as he comes in, then they cut the shot. Oh, what's going on here? There we go. And then they open the door, come in. Oh, no, Italy's being hit by a nuclear warhead. God damn it, we were trying to film a video of the studio, and Italy's just been hit by a nuclear warhead. Shit. Just at the wrong time. God damn it. Don't you hate it when you try to film a little introduction about why your game's not as good as you probably wanted it to be, and then the nukes rain down? All that waiting by the door to let someone in, only to be surprised taken out by a nuclear blast. It's the last thing that you want to happen, really. I'm surprised I managed to upload the video, though. Must make cameras really good quality in Italy. Right, here we go. Right, he's teleported. He was on the other side of the sim rig here. Classic cars. Okay, he was on the other side of the sim rig. Then the nuclear blast happens. And then he's reappeared over there. This is an argument for alternate dimensions. Why is there a bottle of champagne in... We're starting to reveal what's been going wrong at Kudos here. They're all drunk. They're putting champagne into mugs. Why are they putting champagne into mugs? This is why it's taking so long to develop. Right. It's a nice panning shot. I give credit where credit's due, and also good talking by Marco there. He's clearly been media trained, because the camera is wobbling along. He's trying not to walk into the sim rig. He's like, oh, got to get a nice moving shot here. And he's made it through. He's avoided the sim rig. Can we see the cameraman in the reflection? Oh, I don't think we can. It's not high enough resolution. Oh, it's only 1080p. Come on, Kudos. Niels isn't permaban. No, it just told him off for being a rude boy. Oh, here we can. We can see the cameraman. It's someone tall. Look at that. It's like that Star Trek episode with the hologram people. There, look. There's a cameraman. It's someone tall. It's probably who is it that does the game design at Kunos? So maybe it isn't a separate person. It's a good shot though. Also, right, what's this coffee machine? For Italians, isn't that a pathetic coffee machine? That's like a Tassimo. That's not acceptable. You can't have that's a coffee pod. And is that legal in Italy, guys? An espresso? Surely that's not acceptable. Have we got any Italians in chat that can comment on the quality of an espresso? I'm not roasting them too much, but you know what is roasted too much? Nespresso coffee tablet things. And that's poor coffee. We're evaluating this. Yeah, thanks for the 10 subs, and congratulations to those of you that are members that are trapped in Muscle Land. Condolences, but big it up to Jax, spelt J4K5. Big it up to him for the generous membership gift in there. Really, that is very. It's stupid, but she's DD Girl still going. Look, turn it up. See, it's still going. Still, I broke my microphone then. Right, we're continuing with this analysis. Their budget is so short it all goes to a set of Corsa, not for coffee machines. Yeah, I would expect Kunos to have like a full-on, like a whole bar. Time Lords has now got a membership. Well done. Yeah, so let's continue on here with this important breakdown. There we go. So this is weird. This part of the video, they go, guys, though the game wasn't very good in early access launch, we sold a lot of copies. It's a bit of a strange thing to put. Like, guys, we kind of dick things up a bit, and we're not happy with how the launch is, but we did sell a lot. Boeing were like, guys, we kind of, our new planes kind of have a small problem where occasionally they fall out of the sky, killing everyone on board. But we did get more orders of our Boeing planes than we did in any other previous years. Yeah, the doors fall off occasionally, people die. But we made money, so we're doing all right. Oh dear. I get what they're trying to communicate, that they're, the game's not been a fail, but it's just a bit of a conflict there, I think. Okay, so it's most successful in the right. It's the most successful in the story of the franchise in terms of sales numbers, but nice pictures there on the. Is that on the Steam page? Have they changed Steam page design? Has Steam changed it? Do you think that Kunos can survive on their players' loyalty going for? Yeah, because sim racers are desperate. Sim racers are so desperate. If you can, because people are like just desperate for cars that are reasonably realistic, and they've spent so much money on steering wheels and pedals that they're like, oh god, I just need something that's nice to drive and that's different. And sim racers they're pathetic. I'm one of them. I know this. I buy every sim. I don't even care. They could just release it's just, if the game's just called The Sim, I'll buy it. I don't care. Oh, okay. They were saying thank you to everyone for buying the game. So, but if I'm being cynical, it does seem like a bit of a weird presentation. But they were trying to thank the community for supporting them, which is weird. Again, it's commercial, right? So, a business makes a product that's a product that people want to buy, and the people buying the product are like, oh, we like that product, so I'm buying it. So, like, for me, I'm not really thanking Yorkshire tea by buying Yorkshire tea bags. Like, I do like Yorkshire tea, and it's good that they make nice tea and sell it at a good price that I deem acceptable with the amount of money that I have to be able to spend on tea bags. But I don't expect Yorkshire tea to be like, thank you, British people, for buying a margin of tea bags within the quotas that we expected through our business reports of this year. And we're happy to announce, consumers, that we've sold more tea bags this year than last year, which in our long tea bag story is great. I'm not buying the tea bags because I like the tea, and it's the same with like games. You shouldn't be buying. I don't think you should be buying a game to support the developer. You should be buying a game because the game's good, which then supports the developer. This weird sort of like inversion of like sort of parasocial psychological manipulation, which is not intentionally bad. Like I think marketing people, they're just marketing people. Their brains are a bit weird. And I think a lot of people, people are actually not, most people are quite nice, but it's this kind of weird inversion of stuff that's occurred to sort of reframe things in an emotive context, but only when it's conveniently positive for profiteering, even though I don't think it comes from a bad place. But the idea of like, we're supporting it, we'll just make a good game and we'll buy the game because it's good. And I think that's how capitalism really should work, right? It's either good or you need the product, and the price is an acceptable price. So, mind you, I did just thank Jax and other people that sent me money, so I'm actually a bit of a hypocrite on this. On reflection, I take back everything I just said because it would make me look a bit hypocritical. But in my defence, guys, I am directly dependent on people. Shit. God, I've hoisted myself by my own petard again. I've petarded myself. What a petard. Actually, never mind. Forget what I just said. But you know what I mean? I think it is manipulative. I think it is manipulative from YouTubers as well. I think it is a manipulative thing. Like, ideally, you're watching this and you hate yourself and you're like, I've got money to waste. And it's the same with the driving sim. You're like, I've got some money to waste. And so I bought a driving game. It isn't really. And actually, no, what I said actually does stand. I think it is a form of parasocial manipulation, whether it's a giant corporation doing it or YouTuber doing it. And YouTubers will emotionally manipulate the audience by going, guys, I'm struggling. It's terrible. Oh God, I'm having a mental breakdown. Or God, I'm ill. Oh, my mum's been hit by a cross-channel ferry. Oh God, no, I've made a bad financial decision. Oh, please support me. That is exactly the same, or not exactly the same, but it's a form of like parasocial emotional manipulation that's not really relevant to the consumer or the viewer directly, as a way to like try and elicit funds from them. And when lots of companies are going, oh, thank you, I don't think they've necessarily been disingenuous. And same with YouTubers, I think they do thank the audience, and I think they do care. So the corporations do appreciate their jobs and they do appreciate the sales, but because of the way these kind of things work, it does end up being a sort of a thing that's somewhat disingenuous emotional manipulation. Right, enough of that topic. I'm bored of it. Fast boy, wait. Don't you say support us and keep us going when you have like 16 expensive DD girls? My head's got warm, guys. You'll be glad to know when it comes to supporting this channel, that allows us to buy noodle men. This is where our funds go. It doesn't work. He needs some Viagra. The most rubbish noodle man. Go! God, this is reminding many of our viewers. There we go. And then he gets stuck up. He's gone flaccid again. Oh! There he goes. Come on. God damn it, you're like a kudos early access. Get erect. Too real. I'm sorry for our older viewers that this is giving traumatic memory. There we go. This is the worst. This cost £10, guys, and then I had to buy a battery. I spent £15 on this because I bought a 9-volt USB battery. A 9-volt battery. I didn't know they still existed until I bought this. All right, there we go. Yeah. It's about as good as the EVO Early Access. Like, it's so noisy as well. Right, let's continue with this in-depth analysis here. I'll put the sound alerts back on. Sorry, I missed them. Thanks, Skywilk. Did you enjoy your message? I can't even talk about the message. It's secret. Me and Random Call Signs sent Skywalk a secret message whilst being secretly doing something secret that I can't talk about. For what's made for 0.3 cents in China pre-tariffs, it would probably cost about £3. Right, here we go. Continue, guys. God, this stream's terrible. Right. Okay. Challenging times in the video. Right. Kunos. Thank you for all the great support, especially in these challenging times in the video game industry. Right. It's challenging times for companies that didn't, or large business entities that didn't prepare themselves for potential downswings or variations in the industry, and instead benefited from the fact that you might as well just cut staff at a whim to save yeah, like I think it is for indies, due to the competition. In many ways it's very challenging because you can produce a very good game and you can't get it's difficult to outcompete other people, or there's so much competition, and what ends up being successful isn't necessarily a better game. It can be a bit arbitrary on the pure indie side, but at the same time you can get game engines now, and you can develop a lot cheaper, and you can distribute on Steam and platforms. When I did games development very badly, you could do some, like the first time I did it, you couldn't distribute on like Xbox Live Arcade had only just started, and you couldn't sell on Steam basically, isn't it? Or you could, but it was really, really hard. And then even iPhone, which started to come out, that was like actually quite difficult to get accepted for, and you'd have to buy an Apple, and you'd have to do it. There's a whole bunch of stuff and you didn't have the game engines. Like Unity didn't exist, Unreal Engine didn't exist unless you licensed Unreal 3, which would cost like 400,000. So it's not necessarily hard times in the games industry universally, only in specific contexts. And I think if you're a AAA publisher, a lot of the hard times are specifically down to mismanagement in some ways of the publishing industry. And some publishers have made absolute bank over the last 15 years. And also, like, COVID was such a boom time, anybody that's not an idiot would go, yeah, okay, what's going to follow a boom in a specific thing? There's going to be like a downturn or there's going to be fluctuations in markets and stuff. And there's all, so you can't really use the idea of a challenging time in the games industry as in a presentational video like this as some kind of tack on. And also, if you're a developer that has a strong IP, I don't think it is a particularly hard time in the industry in many cases. If you're a strong IP in a niche, a lot of them are doing really bloody well. The developers that have actually done good solid products and then continued that, most of them have I'd need to see the market data, but I think are there any examples that you guys can think of with an indie developer that was lucky, maybe lucky, but they also did a good product that's found it particularly hard now in a scenario like I don't know if it is. I don't know if that's a fair thing to like. It's nuanced. You can't universally just say hard time in the video games industry. But Kunos sold the studio to 505, so whoever sold the studio will have made money out of it and done all right, presumably. I don't know what the finances are, but presumably when you sell a games company, you make some money, and I think deservedly so. Yeah, I don't know. The thing is, I don't think it really matters. Like, the business stuff might not matter, and I don't think it'd be worth mentioning. But if you're going to put it in promotional videos and stuff, and you talk about that kind of thing, then you're opening yourself up to that conversation. I think. These shots are really nice here of the car in front of the garage scene. Lotus Exige, which is nice. We're hyper and analysing the trailer. So the online stuff, fine. Not doing the online. Right, placement. Oh, so this was just them talking about the thing about the always online and why that's incorrect. Right, here we go. Real world shot. Forget the game shots. Right, what can we... come back. Right, here we go, guys. What does this tell us? Is that Marco's toy? Is he a weeb? I think he might be. I think we've exposed Marco as a weeb here. He's got like a little anime robot thing. Any of you in chat know what that is? And yeah, there's a G25 behind him. Signed by Stefano. He's actually... Marco doesn't sit here. This is not Marco's seat. This is someone else. This is Stefano's seat, because Stefano is the only person that still uses a bloody G25 every day. This is Stefano's seat, but Stefano's not a weeb, I don't think. He would have a little boat. And why would you have a pair of glasses on the table if you're already wearing the glasses? And they're both the same type of glasses. It doesn't make any sense, guys. Does he normally wear 2 sets of glasses? Also, what's this keyboard? Why is it like slanted downwards? Are they like going for maximum RSI? I wager that this is Stefano's corner. But there's no boats, so it's hard to tell. Also, is the screen even turned on? Right. It looks like a G25. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, without seeing the buttons, could be a G29. Well, it's not a G293. It definitely looks like a G25. We'll see. Hang on. No, it's not a G25. It's I think it's a G293 because it's got the G25 doesn't have 4 buttons on it. Someone else's glasses on the desk. What is he looking at? Guys, this image could be photoshopped. This is one to cut. This could be turned into absolute meme fodder. Oh, no. Little did they realise. What is he doing? It's like he's watching Windows Media Player. Yeah, this can be used for meme fodder here. Yeah, what is this cable management about? This is inexcusable. Like, what is going on? David Adams is on it. This could be my new live stream intro. I'll put my live stream in the picture. Hang on. We can do this now. I can't do it now because I'd have to like put it on the... I want to, but I'd have to move it all over. It'd be very awkward. Unless... Oh no, I can't do shortcuts through what I'm using. Oh well. So much for that. Right. Oh, what's been exposed here? Oh, hang on, they've had to blur out his email. Send Horsehead to Gamer Muscle. List of things. Apologise for early access of Assetto Corsa. Start the apology by saying that we sold the game really well, and then move on to explaining why the game's not always online, even though it might have been, but we've had to change our mind because of the backlash. Yeah, he's reading the community feedback. Whose message is that? It's positive messages. Can't see it. He should have filmed in 4K. I don't know, David. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Oh look, you can see like he's scrolling through them and tears, tears rolling down his face of how many horse heads need to be posted out. Who's online? Who's this? Wow, it's a shame they didn't film this in 4K. So much could have been gained. Oh, hang on, this is their community Discord. Okay. Oh, nothing. Hang on, was there anything in the background? Oh, they've gone for the AOC monitors. They're quite nice screens. Is this like new? What's this? Grid customization. Oh, fair enough. I don't think they really are getting a lot of the feedback off online. Like what a lot of it is that a develop like so they'll have their internal testing and they will know what generally is the right thing to do, and then you'll be like, oh well, you present that you really care about the online feedback because you know you want to be like, oh yeah, we really care, we really invested in everybody's thoughts, when obviously that's physically impossible. But there will be, in all game development, there will obviously be, so someone might have a specific hardware configuration with a specific problem, or there might be a general consensus or a general sense of what a community is putting out. So, you know, that can be quite useful. Unfortunately, even in sim racing, even more so, and also in specific niches, the people that are really active on like Discord or specific communities often are like mental. Like they create their own like meme narrative things that then become a consensus thing in that community, because what tends to happen in online spaces is that certain consensuses, if you agree with them, your view will get elevated higher because there'll be more agreement with it. So that doesn't necessarily mean that it was a good view or the right view. It's just a view that on the face of it seems agreeable. so you can then end up with this like feedback that, oh, as a developer, it looks like a lot of the community are wanting this or looking for this. When actually they're not at all. It's just what they're presenting that they want. So a good example of that is like rain in driving simulators. It's like and weather. If you go back, very few people would be saying no, weather's kind of actually is pretty stupid and pointless for most things, like for online racing and things, and from what a lot of people do, it's not really. Relative to how much work it is to do properly, it's not really. Most people don't even want to drive in the wet. Like they'll like the idea of it, but actually they'll never use it. But if you go back, most people are like, oh yeah, we need rain, we want weather, we want day night. I even put videos out explaining why rain and day night aren't necessarily the best things to do, and I got absolutely slaughtered for it. But it becomes a meme of like what people think is a better thing to have versus what the actual reality is. Obviously, developers aren't stupid. They know that communities have these memes as well, in a sense. And most developers will make their decisions based off data they've got available to them. But sometimes the data is derived from those memes. So, yeah. Weirdly, I personally like rain in driving simulators and weather, like myself, but I know it's stupid. Like, I know most people in reality don't want it because they can't even drive in the dry, and also rain is quite fatiguing, and you also need to implement it in a very specific way. You need to make it so it's truly random, but random in a way that's not frustrating. You also need to make sure the handling is already good. Like, you need to make sure the tire model already is realistic in the dry, because wet's just going to expose it even more. And you also need to make sure that the force feedback gives you enough detail to feel where the limit is properly, because it's even more crucial when driving in the wet. So it is absolutely ridiculous when iRacing do rain when they haven't even sorted out the dry tyres. It doesn't make any sense at all. But yeah. Oh well. Road America confirmed. Broken Clouds confirmed. But yeah, I personally really like driving in the rain, and I like wet tyres because they're more like road tyres. Like wet tyres on a really fast car is really fun. Yeah, exactly, fast boy. So sometimes it's worth going against what most people want as well. So, you know, but I think that's a developer choice, isn't it? Like it's an artistic choice, and then if it was a good artistic choice, well, maybe it won't be popular, but it's going to be the choice of the developer. Yeah, so yeah, but I think that's the thing, is you need for rain and weather to work in Sims, you need the race to be like over an hour. Otherwise, there's not enough time for the rain. So the interesting part of rain is when it's just a little bit of drizzle and then goes away. So you don't ever change tyres, but you have to change the driving. Or there's a sudden torrential downpour and you have to make a strategic decision. Do I need to go to wets, or do I follow the guy in front going to wets? And you know, who does what, and then do I then change back, and when do I change back, and that strategy stuff. But that only ever makes sense if it's like a minimum 40-minute race, probably like an hour or an hour and a half race. Anything outside of that, there's not enough time for a track to dry. Unless, I mean, then you could artificially have the track dry quicker, but you have to then convey that to the player. And so it's an absolute game design minefield. And if you haven't done like dry features and basic online ranking and stuff, like, it's a bit silly to get into that. I wonder what's in these Kunos magical folders. The rainbow. Hang on, they got white, blue, purple, red, orange, blue, red. How are you supposed to know which folder to go to if they're all mixed colours? There's no tags on them either. They're just there for decoration. And what is that under there? With some jugs. Oh, they probably put the horse head in that box. It's ready for horse head delivery. Or it could be a printer. It's hard to tell. Oh, here we go. Back to the. Have they changed it from the opening shot? Did he record both of these at the same time, but the cameraman moved? I think they did. What's this? What is this? Reef and Port. I don't get that. Is it like some Kunos special edition box of some sort? No, it's not. They didn't have any boxes like that. So nice shot of their editor they've got for because it's their track editor. Have they accidentally shown off? Have they accidentally shown something off? What is this here? Kunos. What is this, Kunos? Some I don't think it's a Fanatec wheel. I mean, who could be working on some wheels? I don't think it's a Moser. Have they done that by accident? It's public now, so let me just see. You can literally see the logo on it, guys. Yeah, I think they've... Yeah, kudos. Oh dear. You can see the logo on it. Well, GG. Oh dear. Presumably they had. Presumably that's not an accident. Early access can't be sued. See the contact patch. What? They've got what are the rigs they got in here? Acertec wheel there, that's nice. Fanatec V3's down the bottom. That's a nice shot. This is actually going from like untextured, but what this is supposed to represent. This is supposed to represent AI improvement. Their engine must have a mode where you can just go flat shaded, maybe for like analysis or something. Unless that's some like video filter. Actually, the Logitech wheels actually have pretty good force feedback and filter settings on them, to be honest. Like the I mean, as we say, all the high end well, all the like the Simagic, Moser, Logitech, Fanatec, they're all fine. It's entirely on the game side that the force feedback's dependent on, really. This Donington looks nice, actually. Suitably miserable. Donington's a good track, I think. It's like a simple track, but it's quite nice. I think we've milked this trailer. We need more Kudos office shots. I think this is good fun. Oh, we're back to the office now. I think the high point, though, was the nuclear blast, because I wasn't expecting that. And I'm surprised it wasn't reported in the news. And even more surprised that they all survived the nuclear blast and nothing seemingly being damaged. So I think we witnessed a warp into a parallel dimension. Oh, here we go. So what's this? Paths. Are these like collide? Oh, it's just the map. So just the track editor. What's this path for? Is this for a camera or something? Yeah, the AI lines. So it's interesting how AI works in simulators, where if you set out a path for them, then they can deviate from that path to varying degrees. But nobody's managed to do good, I guess, Sophie AI, but even that has problems. Is that the wall hitbox? Yeah, well, it's weird. Like, what's this? Oh, is this the start finish line here? I don't know. You can't wait to get hands. I think it'll be good fun. I like so. There's multiple levels to this. As a gamer, like if I was just a sim racer, sim race for myself, I'd be like, I wouldn't be bothered to follow a lot of this. I'd just be like, well, when it's done, whatever, and I'd ignore it and just do other stuff. I'd just be like, well, you know, whatever. Like I wouldn't waste my brain capacity, as little as it is. I wouldn't waste it on like, oh, game update. I'd be like, I don't care. When it's done, then I'll consider it. Well, I like games development stuff, but as a YouTuber, this is great because it's like, oh, we could we could look at all the pointless update stuff. You could check the update out. So again, at the end of the day, YouTubers are to blame because it really does, from a marketing perspective, again, more broken games or games having lots of updates, it's way more marketing from like all the, like how many YouTubers will have covered this video alone going, oh, I wonder what's in it or what's going on, and so it just keeps things in the mind of people, right? So you might as well just do whatever as a developer, just keep doing updates, and then even with the hardware, like Moser just put out a new post about their new force feedback 4, which is like, it's mostly an over embellished nonsense. Like the original drivers for the Moser were fine. Like the software's the issue with the games. Like none of the DD wheels have, you know, all their software changes. They might improve things a little bit. I'm not saying it's pointless, but you know, but if the companies keep doing posts going, oh, update, then YouTubers will cover it, and it's more marketing. So like the AMS2 updates, game changing update, guys, game changing. Oh dear. So it's good for YouTubers, it's good for content, but I'm not sure if it's good for the consumer. But I take blame. Yeah, the AI thing is it's been kind of stuck. I think it's difficult to make. It's very hard to make good AI. The more peaky tyres are, the more grippy and bitey tyres are. There's sort of like, the closer something is to like dirt racing or like vintage tyres, the more the longer the brake zones are, and the more like drawn out and the less sort of balancing on the limit the physics are. So the more like predictable like angles that you take through corners, the easier it is to make better AI, because everything is happening in a larger range, and also it means that AI can do stuff and it can be hidden a bit better. Like it's going to be less affected by like tight corners, and also slower accelerating cars is going to be easier to like dip for stuff to be convincing. So it is. I don't think any sim is like iRacing AI is pretty good, but then its time model doesn't allow you to drive on the limit. So I would think that would really help the AI and hide a lot of the issues. But its AI is good in terms of it doing moves and things. I think R-Factor 2 and Race Room AI is not the worst, but then all the AI has that first corner issue when there's more than a few like the AI are close and they all bottle up in a weird way. They all seem to have that problem. They've never fixed that. Or like when you've got a tight corner after a flowing section. Yeah, I think using full physics on the AI is, especially on cross-platform games, is a big issue, especially if you've got large numbers of cars. So it's probably better not to use AI I know that's been a problem with multiple games in the past where AC I think actually does use physics on. I don't know if Evo does, but I think AC1 actually has full physics for all the AI, which then I think causes a lot of problems. I might be wrong on that. There are some games where they do, and it's been an issue. But then if you don't use the actual physics, or you maybe use like a simplified physics, and there might be other behaviours that are a bit weird that come out of it. Yeah, that's exactly Utrid. I actually think cheat. So this is another controversial thing. Most people in sim racing would be like, "Oh, I hate rubber banding AI. Oh, I hate AI that does this." And it's like, well, actually, it depends how it's implemented. Like, rubber banding can be done in a way where, as long as it's not super cheesy, doing it to a degree can be really good for making it a more compelling experience, and also to make up for the flaws with AI. But it's entirely down to the specific design of the rubber banding or various systems. Again, it's kind of like actually doing it unrealistically can actually. As my microphone falls off. Bloody hell! Actually, doing it unrealistically can actually really be a beneficial thing. You just have to. It has to be approached carefully and cleverly. It's not a single thing of like rubber banding is bad. Is a bit of a simple, overly simplistic view. How dare they try not to slide free-to-all music? Unacceptable. Is this a Maserati? It's the new Maserati MC12, right? MC. No, it says here GT2 MC20. Yeah, that's the new one, isn't it? Is that a GT4 car? What is the new Maserati? ...2025 luxury SUV MC20. Right, here we go. I need to see a picture of this. Any other just in Maserati texture skins? New car 1. It's got a different hood on it though from the road version. Is there a GT3 one? Maserati MC20. Oh, it's GT2 version. There you go. All right. Enjoy your non-air fried food and your waffles. Thanks for thanks for torturing us as usual. Right. I think it was quite nice actually, the Maserati. What if you want to train on overtaking or defending? You need to be able to choose between faster or slower than you. Well, if you wanted to practice overtaking, then you just start at the back and you put the AI on the settings that's slightly slower than you, and you just overtake loads of AI. It's still not going to be like racing real people, but you can get reasonably comfortable. And then defending, I guess you just put yourself in first and then have the AI be faster and then try and see what you can do. But most defending in the simulators is just drive the inside line. That will generally do the trick in a lot of sims. Just being very consistent and very consistently defending the inside line, because it's surprisingly hard in most sims and on most tracks. It's surprisingly hard to overtake around the outside of someone. So as a default strategy, but to be honest as well, ultimately, if you are at reasonable pace, not many people are, and you don't make mistakes, not many people are generally going to be attacking you for you to defend them. So just raw pace is like a much bigger defense than actual racecraft defensive driving in most scenarios. Well, that's it. I mean, I never make mistakes, obviously. So I also just push the brake after the other car. Doesn't matter when they push it, just push it after. That's a rule I live by. The driver model looks very vitamin deficient here. Look at this. See, he needs some sunshine. He looks like a vampire. Maybe he's never allowed out of the car. Maybe he's locked in the Kunos offices. It's a real person that they've laser scanned, and they're never allowed into the glorious Italian sunshine. But he has to stay in the office, and then they laser scan him for every 10 years when they do a new game. Can I come out? Please, Kunos. No. Stay in your cupboard. Yeah, maybe Scottish. They haven't seen sunlight for decades. I'm not sure how the modding thing also works in AC, in the sense of new developers generally don't want crazy unlicensed stuff that's infringing on rights, and I think that's the case with Kunos. So I don't know what they're going to do in regards to that. And the thing is, a lot of the modding scene is people going, oh, I like this car and it's not in any game, so I'm going to make it as a mod. And the reason it's not in any game is because the developer can't license it because the company is a pain in the arse to license from. Yeah, it's an interesting one. If you're going to try and do everything officially, or you want to do it fully legally, then it's another big barrier to entry for modders, which would make them go, and the modders will just go, well, I don't really care. I'm not doing this for money, so I'll just release my game for Beam or for AC1, right? Yeah, and also a lot of stuff stuck. And I'm not saying that's a good. I'm not endorsing stolen assets or unlicensed stuff. I'm not saying that's a great thing to do. I'm just pointing out the reality of the complexity of it. Oh, look, this is for random call sign. You can see the car leaking oil. This was actually you can tell this is a downhill bit of racetrack as well, because this vehicle would not be able to drive over 200 meters without breaking down. Right, I bet you random call signs was watching this. He's like, oh. No, that's fluid leaking out the radiator and oil, and this is the car's rolling downhill. Oh, Honda NSX. That's a nice car. That's really good in R Factor 2 has the Honda, and it's really nice to drive. That's it. Another vampire. That's it. I think that's a nice looking car. Like, even now, it's a nice. Weirdly, I think a lot of these older vehicles somehow look more modern now than some of the cars that have been released recently. I think some of the cars just look terrible at the moment, or they're just not interesting to look at. They look like a weird. A lot of vehicles now look like PlayStation 4 fictional cars, rather than like, oh, that's a car that's been designed by someone that's doing a nice job. Oh, is it? There's another car for random call sign. I think Kunos are just doing this for random call sign. Look at those hubcaps. Beautiful. This and the BMW DTM cars are really good in the original AC, and in Race Room they're really good. Hang on. Was that an aerial atom, or was that another shot of the... Oh, it's Caterham 7. Here we go. So that's good. It might not. I think it is Caterham 7. There's a few cars that have the same design, but they're actually not Caterhams. That could be fun. That'd be good if they do a good job with that. Very few sims do a good job on Caterhams because they handle a bit weird. Hello, he's gifted 5 subs. Why have you done that? Frankenstein 01 Netherlands. Thank you so much. Who got a sub on Twitch? Why don't I have a better alert for that? I don't think anyone's gifted subs before. Oh no, they must have done. Frankenstein gifted to Beef Wagon Montesuro Mintersu Ferrari 27 JXK EU El Patron Man. Thank you very much for those gifted subs. Really appreciate that. I'll add all these names to the
pace car is out of control.
It's back to front. I'll add everyone to the members list after this stream because we've had a lot of people becoming members today. Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. I again, really appreciate it. But don't become a member or gift members unless you have money to waste. Thank you very much.
I don't like ACC, but I do like the
normal.
That is amazing. So it's probably one of the
best.
But one of the or not the best simulation to practice, like even F1 or GT mods. It's really good.
You like a human model used for advertisement. I'm a human model. I don't know what you mean, but sure. Yes, you gave me money, so I agree with everything you say. 100%. That's how. That's it. Give me money, I'll just agree with everything. Caterham 7, what we're saying? Yeah, the handling of it is a little bit weird in reality. They're kind of like a bit pokey and abrupt. But I really like them in games, but I don't think any sim has done a good Caterham 7. Project Cars 2 had a nice Caterham 7 in it. I don't think it handled realistically. It was really slidey, but it was less worse than the one that's in Automobilista 2. R Factor 2 actually had a Caterham 7 that was kind of okay, a bit weird. Again, still really slidey. Like they never have a, or maybe it was an R Factor 1 as well. Like Automobilista 1 had a Caterham that was okay actually. I think that's it. Automobilista 1's Caterham 7. Even then, I would say the Live for Speed, it's not a Caterham 7, but that's probably the closest thing. But that was, again, it was sloppy. It didn't have that weird... You watch Caterhams do autocross, or if you watch there's Caterham Cup in the UK, and you'll see what I mean. They I think because they're quite narrow and the wheelbase is also narrow, they have this weird like... And they also don't. Then just watch onboards and things. You'll see what I mean. They seem weird, but I think good for racing. Basically, like when we used to play it in Project Cars 2, the actual speed and braking is kind of a bit like a heavier Skip Barber sort of thing. So, Uhtred, some paid mods are very grey area, but you don't see my argument for free mods. My argument? Whose argument? Nimbly Bimbly. Nimbly Bimbly. Hello. I just bought a car. I'm struggling to drive it because when I go around roundabout, it's a bit nimbly bimbly. Yeah, nimbly bimbly. That's how we describe the handling. It says that on the box when you buy it. Caution, this vehicle is nimbly bimbly. Are you having an argument? Yeah, you can just have a discussion. Oh, here we go. They're in a mod discussion in chat. VMog, if I made a guitar and I saw it in the new Guitar Hero without being paid for it, I'd be mad. Yeah, but look, are you ever going to make a guitar? I don't think you will, VMog. And why would it end up in the new Guitar Hero? And as a counter argument, how many people know about Subaru Imprezas or Ford Focuses or just vehicles in general, because they're in video games, that would never have known about them? How many people do you think would know? This is the thing. It's weird that car companies charge games developers to license stuff often, right? Well, generally. But actually, the games developers are actually doing marketing for the car companies. So in many ways, it should be the other way around. Like, the thing is, you could argue, well, no, actually, the developer is paying for the intellectual property and the marketing that's already been paid for by the car company, which brings an allure to the product. And surely that is the case. Like, certain cars and brands have a value to them, and so the developer having those brands will get sales of the game that they otherwise wouldn't have got because people didn't know about the brands. But that's not all cars. There's like, it depends. Like, it's not the same for all brands. Like, there's some cars the developer categorically will be doing more of a favor to the car company than the car company's doing to the developer. Oh, what? Oh, the McMurty. I wonder how they simulate this, because this car has the fan on the bottom of it that pulls the car to the ground, like active ground effect, basically, like that old 80s car. This would be interesting to see how the physics engine actually does this. Like, if they simulate airflow and ground effect. That'd be really interesting. Or if they just have some of the... If it's faked... I mean, it's all fake because it's a video game. But, like, to what degree they fake the car would be really interesting. Or if it is actually from downforce. That's something that's not covered a lot in you really don't see how the downforce operates, or sort of aero operates in the different simulators, and how that's done in the simulators. Like, is it doing like a limited version of computational fluid dynamics? Is it like a sort of they've like particleized things or made it limited, but that still gets enough data to get the general effect? Or are they just going, right, well, it's the wing is like this, so we're gonna, if it's XYZ angle, it's gonna do whatever. But you don't really see developers talk about that, so that'd be quite interesting for them to talk about that. Maybe they all fake it in really dodgy ways. That's why they don't talk about it. That'll be a question that I'll ask the next developer that I talk to. Hang on, what's this car? What's this? Is this a... What is this? Is this like a... Was that a Formula E car? No. Is that a modern... Is this a... What's this car? It's got a rain light on it. It's not a 2007 Formula 1 car. This has a... kart, like a Indy car. Is it IndyCar? Ah, it's a plane. That makes sense. It looks like an IndyCar of some variety. It's not a 2010 Formula car. No. It's got to be like IndyCar. Hang on. Or... It's this. It's an IndyCar. No. It's not an F2004. No, hang on. Yeah, it says side exhaust on it. It's not IndyCar. It's not the F2004. No, it's not. Oh, it could be. It's weird angles. Yeah, it could be. It's just weird angles. Yeah, it's just super weird angles of it because you can't see the rear wing. You've not missed anything now. It's funny that, yeah. It's funny that it looks more futuristic than modern stuff. It's just weird. It's weird angles that make the extra shapes and stuff look different. The F2004 is like one of the better cars in one of the really good cars in AC1. It's super fun because you can put like put the traction control on like a lowish setting and just absolutely throw it around. Yeah, it was a plane all along. Yeah, you could just release this with the F2004 car and full 2004 season, but you're just driving it all from the perspective of Michael Schumacher. There you go. That's the game. That's the whole game. It's called F2004, and it's the whole year, and it's got the tracks of that year and all the other drivers with the other cars. But you only drive the F2004, right? And the garage and everything is as detailed as possible for that one car, and you play through it through that perspective, and that's it. And it has Murray Walker going, "Oh, he's in the car. The player has joined the race. Is it? Yes, the player is in the garage. Oh no, Mansell is out of the Hungarian Grand Prix." And that'd be fine. That'd be the whole game. I'd have that. I mean, I could just have Murray Walker just talking to me all the time. Or would it be James Allen? Oh, I'm not interested. It's Tarquini. Oh no! It looks like he's in the wall. And Mansell has run out of fuel. It's Kimi Räikkönen with a third position finish. Scam Tree made AI Murray Walker. Oh dear. Well, there you go. I think we've milked their announcement for all it can be milked for. Hang on, what's this? Programming star Stefano Casello? But it sounds like something you get given at primary school. You're a star. You're a star. Congratulations. Here's a smiley face. Boop. What else have they got? Hang on. Marco. What does it say? Development something. Studio of the Year. Who's this? What is this stars thing? What are these? What's this award? Stars Game Award. Maybe Kunos has made it up. And they put it on the mantelpiece. Oh, that would be really good. What is it? Is it Irish? Hang on, Irish Stars Game Award. What is this? Oh, is it Italian? Am I blind? Italian Game Awards. No. There is an Italian Video Game Awards. Did Kunos win that? They should have done. Guys, have we got any Italians here that can explain what this is? Why would you want congratulations, it's a plastic brick. Right, what is this? I'm Googling, guys. It's not Italian video. Oh, here we go. Developers. Here we go. Got Stefano holding the awards here. D-Stars is the Developers Award created by developers to celebrate the Italian gaming industry. D-Stars. Look at D-Stars. And then they've got a picture of the mantelpiece with the same bottle. When was this from? They've got the same bottle of... we've got a different coffee machine, though. Look at this. Post it in chat, guys. Look at this. So they've... they've changed the mugs, but they've still got the bottle of champagne in the cooler. So that's been there for years. And then their coffee machine has changed. So what's going on there? Is that a display champagne? Oh, hang on, but then the other coffee machine in Stefano's picture comes back. So they've, in two pictures, they've had two separate coffee machines. Oh, one might be a coffee grinder. Look at this. It keeps changing. I can't make their mind up. So I think that might be a coffee bean grinder, and then it's changed over to the Tassimo, unless they were taken years apart. Best Boss Awards. It's a coffee cup with Best Boss on it. Right, so get D stars. Let's have a look. Let's see who won D stars. Best individuals in the Italian gaming industry. Celebrating Italian game development 2019. Right, here we go. Born in 2019. Apparently he died in 2019. No, 2025. Who won in 2025? Checkpoint? Nabba? Oh, I don't know who these people are. Best new studio: Falling Saints, Cabo Studio. Game of the Year: A Quiet Place, The Road Ahead, Entoria, On Your Tail, Alinath, Champs of the Four Kingdoms, Zero Sievert. Yeah. Wow. The more you know, guys, the more you know. Oh, hang on, what's going on here? Stefano's had to sell his guitar. No! But that's his G27, so what's going on there? Why is Stefano sat next to an air conditioner? Or maybe it's a box of... I don't know what's going on there. Well, there we go, guys. I think we have gone too in depth, too far. We now know too much about Kunos, and we'll never be able to unlearn it. I don't know what to do now. Now that we've exposed Kunos for 2.5 hours. now that we've done that, where is there to go? Grazie. Mystery's gone. I think I would say their video went downhill after the nuclear blast. That was the high point, was the door opening and the mystery, and back to the grind. Oh no, I don't even know the tracks in LMU. And then this, then that was it. That was the end. The video could have been just 5 seconds long, but it wasn't. Right. I'm hungry. I'm bloody hungry. I don't know what to do, guys. I might get some food, and then we can think about coming back. But I appreciate everyone for watching. No, but nobody knows when the update will be. I appreciate everyone watching this, and it was a fun reveal from Kunos. Appreciate them giving me a reason to live stream and rant about pointless things. Yeah, might come back later, but we'll have to change titles and everything. So I will see you in a bit. I think you should go to America. But, yeah, thanks for taking part, everybody. I'm gonna get some food, and then I'll think about if we come back for some more. But on that note, all of you on Twitch can go over to a fellow bold person with a good taste in games. So, cheers, everyone. Woo! The channel member list will be updated at some point for all the new members. Thank you. Bye.